We got some new Matt Walsh cringe. Wait a second. New Matt Walsh cringe just dropped? Wait. So this is called both sides of the gender pronoun debate. Both sides of the gender pronoun debate. So it's not even about like the gender, it's just about pronouns. That's it. This is the pronoun. Are you guys ready for the goddamn pronoun debate? Let's freaking go. 15 minutes. This is gonna be nasty, isn't it? All right, boys. I'm ready for an all-out duel between Matt Walsh and normal people. Let's fucking go, bro.
I'm Addison.
And I'm Ethan.
We've been together for about
5 years.
And married
for 3 years.
I use they, them pronouns. Being non-binary just means that I just don't identify with the gender I was assigned at birth, and I don't identify exclusively with being a man or a woman. I'm something in between, outside of that binary.
My pronouns are he or they. I also identify as a non-binary. To me, being a non-binary means having the sense of freedom to explore my gender in whichever way I want. I don't have to perform or pretend to be someone that I'm not. I can be my authentic self.
It's really important for us to share more information with people because people are curious, they want to understand, but sometimes they don't always have the opportunities to do that.
This is
okay. All right, so there's two people who are married and they're like non-binary. Rip gender, pour one out. So we have these normal people who are just in a normal love. So we have these people who are in a normal loving relationship. They're just married. They spend time together. They love each other, and that's it. And so we have this married couple versus a very angry man who's who's made it his job to be angry at these people who are doing nothing but like living their life and being married. All right. So just so we understand like where we are here, okay?
Is a hot topic.
Yes.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is it a good thing?
I guess because it creates dialogue and it invites conversation to learn about other people.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are really confused about gender identity in these times, and it's good for us to have these conversations so people open their minds and relearn and unlearn to what we've been taught.
Right. And Addison, many people think gender pronouns are exclusive to the LGBTQ plus community, but that's a misconception, true?
Yeah. Well, everybody has pronouns.
What the fuck did this man just say?
Community. Exclusive to the Addison, many people think gender pronouns are exclusive to the LGBTQ plus community, but that's a misconception, true?
Yeah. Well,
I love that smile that they gave, bro. So many people have said that gender is something that only the LGBTQ community has. Is that true? What is happening? Pronouns? You have pronouns. Everyone has pronouns. What the fuck are you saying? What's happening? Did they all collectively fail elementary? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. You ever pronouns? We know what pronouns are. You learned them in like English class, like 5th grade English class or something, all the way up to like 9th grade or something. Like pronouns. That's a queer thing, right?
everybody has pronouns. Like, you may use he and him as your pronouns, right? I use they and them as my pronouns. We all may have a certain gender pronoun too, but I think it's important for people to understand that for trans and non-binary people, we often change our pronouns to reflect who we are when we come out and be who we are.
How do you explain the difference between sex and gender?
I consider sex to be our biological makeup. Our chromosomes, our hormones, our genitals is a biological makeup. But our gender is more of an
talking about
internal
genitals?
sense. So think of it like this. Sex is what's between the legs, and gender is what's between the ears, right? It's how we see ourselves on the inside.
Okay.
My man, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Phil he sounds and looks so confused. You know what this is like? You are transgender. Yes, I am a transgender person. You are gay. No, I am not gay. Who is gay? No. So who is gay? Oh, look at this. Oh no, there's a Walsh. Fuck. Why are you gay? Just listen. I mean, he's trying his best. Okay, he's trying his best. All right. He's yeah. Why are you gay?
And
who is gay?
That's something somebody can't know. Gender is something somebody can't know just by looking at somebody.
Nope, yeah. Because everyone is going to present and express themselves in a different way. I know it's very confusing, right? Everyone's like, what is going on? But it's really, about us breaking that assumption that we can tell someone's identity, someone's story, their pronouns, even their name, just based on how they look, right?
Yeah. And so how does someone ask? How does somebody clarify that? Ethan, what's the best way?
I need details, all right? Also, chat, this goes out to you. I need details. How do I how do I approach one single queer? Can you, how does that work? How do I approach them? Like, what do I do? Which gender you got, bitch? Just treat them like people? Are you sure? They're like different. They got like pronouns and gender and shit. Hey, y'all, you one of them Q people? I'm queer? Oh my gosh. You should give me your pronouns now. I saw something like this. The thing is like woke non-trans people always pull this shit, okay? Which is the gender circle and the pronoun circle, okay? There's just be a group of people, and then there's like a trans person, and everyone goes, oh, all right, everyone, it's pronoun circle time. Tell us your pronouns. Oh, I go by she, her. Wow. I go by he, him. Wow. You, what's your pronouns? Everybody stop, put everything down. We have a single transgender here. It's pronoun time. So I get that. I don't know. Personally, I just don't. I find it hard. All right. And I'll say this and I'll stand by it. I find it hard to care about LGBTQ people in like when I'm outside. I find it hard to care. What I mean is, yeah, canceled. I'm going to stick by this. I'm like 90% sure when like non-binary or like trans people go outside that they don't want every interaction with a group of people to be like the pronoun circle. Okay. That's just me personally. I'm pretty sure that they would just enjoy it if I walked up to them and I'm like, is someone sitting here? And they're like, no. And I go, would it be okay if I can sit here? And they go, that's fine. That's the world that I want. Okay. That's the world that I want. And I do this. Here's my thing. Okay. Shark wants to sit next to trans people. I don't want to sit next to trans people. I don't care about sitting next to trans people. It doesn't matter. Like what's going to happen? Am I going to be infected with transgender or something? Who cares? They're like any other human being. It doesn't matter. No amount of context will save Shark 300 for saying this. I do this because people are hurting. Not because I like sit in bed thinking about like queer people. That doesn't really happen. And honestly, if we get to a point where I'll never have to talk about queer people again, honestly, giga fucking pog. All right. I'm sorry. I think it would be great if we got to a world where I would never have to make another like pro LGBT video in my life, or pro woman video, or anti-racism video. All right. I think that would be sick as fuck. I think that'd be the craziest shit ever. I would love that. That'd be a crazy world. I'd love to live in that world. But I probably just wouldn't say it out loud on Lefty Twitch. I am a Sigma male. Okay. And if they would like to disagree with me, they're doing ableism and they need to stop. There's no reason for anybody to disagree with me. My point is undisagreeable. You can't disagree with this point without being wrong and cringe. Trans person exists. Queer ally. Selfie time. Yeah, it's like you're going to the freaking zoo, you know? I'm sorry, with these, the way I see these people act is like they're going to the goddamn zoo. Okay, it's like they saw a pygmy like a pygmy marmoset. It's just like, stop oohing and awing at the pride parade. I'm not going to a pride parade. I'm sorry. There's nothing there for me. If you disagree with me, you're wrong, and you're transphobic, and you're racist, and you're ableist. So if that's the life that you want to live, all right, if you want to get the Bad Bunny award, go ahead. All right. I'm just saying you can't disagree with me without being wrong, and racist, and ableist, and transphobic. Trans people going outside to meet their constituents. Like the barista that kept getting harassed by some white lady trying to apologize for racism. Troden, leave me alone.
What's the most comfortable way?
I think for me, to create a safe space for people to share their pronouns, I will say, hi, my name is Ethan. I use he or they pronouns. What about you?
I think it's really important for us to recognize other people's pronouns because, again, we can't make that assumption. But for so many people who are cisgender, meaning that you do identify with the gender that you were assigned at birth, you're not transgender or not non-binary, I think a lot of people don't even question their pronouns because we already use them and it's already assumed correctly. Mm-hmm. But for so many trans and non-binary people, that isn't often assumed correctly. So we need to take the time to get to know people.
Cisgender, it says adjective that describes a person whose gender identity matches or aligns with the gender he or she was assigned at birth. Now, this would be what has been traditional for centuries, right? Mm-hmm. Why does it need a term?
You know, if we don't use that term, then we end up saying maybe real men or normal men or regular men, right? Or we just say men, and then we say maybe transgender men, right? And the thing is that we need to realize that trans women are women, trans men are men too. And so we just want to have a term for that privilege, that assumption that your gender identity is going to match the one that you were assigned at birth.
All right. And then transgender, adjective, describes a person whose gender identity does not match or align with the gender they were assigned at birth. And then non-binary describes a person whose gender identity does not fit into the traditional binary of man or woman. And
we do a little copy pasta. We do a little copy pasta from the LGBT Wikipedia. Tradition good, me want to be monkey again. Some people, many people, you know what? Many people are saying this.
That term can be abbreviated to, and how do you pronounce that?
NB.
NB.
NB, yeah.
Okay, and explain that.
For transgender people, we are assigned a sex at birth. And when we grow up, when there's a mismatch of how we view ourselves and how society views us, then we can choose to, either medically transition or just socially transition or both.
My name is Matt Walsh.
Oh my gosh. White man jump scare. Fuck, dude. Calm down. Oh, did you see that? He just came out of what a cut like that. He came out of nowhere, man. Yeah, suddenly a wet mouse has arrived. My goodness. Shit was insane. Wait a second. I want to see that again. Accosted by a wet mouse.
Medically transition or just socially transition.
Like everything was so chill. Everything was peaceful until the wet mouse attacked.
Or both.
My name is Matt Walsh, and I've written a book called Johnny the Walrus. This book is about identity and imagination. He identifies as a walrus, and his mom's a little silly. She takes it seriously and thinks he really is a walrus. So she went on her phone, and there were people telling her that this isn't pretend. He's really a walrus.
You know what? To the big props to the Dr.Phil crew for saving those children from the critical cringe that is when they grow up and their identities being known that they were in the same room as Matt Walsh. Hopefully it'll be like the type of thing like you don't remember when you got like your circumcision or something. You know what I mean? It's just like when you experience that pain, you'll just never remember it when you're older. So hopefully it'll just like remain that way, and hopefully that'll just like drift off and disappear. We only hope.
Not only topping the Amazon charts, my book has taken the world by storm.
You're saying that
taken the world by storm. Okay, wet mouse. My book has changed the world. All right, buddy.
There should be no construct of gender, just sex. You're either male or female.
Right.
And someone feeling in a mental, emotional way that they don't identify with the sex that they have been biologically created as and assigned at birth based on.
The drawings are so bad. No, the drawings are ugly as fuck, bro. Like, I can see Matt Walsh hired someone to like scroll through DeviantArt, find like someone who like just learned to draw like 3 months ago, put this shit together because it was cheap. I can see it.
On their genitalia, if they don't feel that way, that there's no construct that describes that, experiences that.
Well, that's got nothing to do with the reality. So you can feel however you want. I mean, I can sit here and say that I feel like a tomato plant, but that doesn't mean that I'm actually in those things. So your self-perception, you can have whatever.
Matt Walsh believes that women are as far from him as tomato plants. So weird.
Self-perception you want. But you can't expect me to take part in that self-perception or to take part in this kind of charade, this theatrical production. You don't get your own pronouns, just like you don't get your own prepositions or your own adjectives. It's like if I were to
what the fuck are you talking about? What? This is so weird. You don't get you can't have pronouns. Like, what about a name? You get your own name. I mean, everybody can have everyone can have their own like unique name. That's true. One joke. That's it. It's just one joke. Yes, you do. It's just so weird. You do get your own. Yeah, you get your own pronouns. It's called a name, bitch. Oh, it's just so weird. Yeah, that is how language works. Grammar? He's never heard of it, okay?
My adjectives are handsome and brilliant. And whenever you're talking about me, you have to describe me as handsome and brilliant because that's how I identify. It makes no sense. You don't get your own pronouns. That's grammar. That's language.
So you think it's a delusion? Someone is self-delusional.
Wait.
Grammar, that's language.
So
that's how just language. It's just fucking stupid. Identify as popular leftist Twitch streamer? Twitch 300? Wait a second. You may not want to do that because high progressive, because I'm getting canceled. I'm being canceled now. It is over for me. My Twitch career is coming to an end. I will be canceled by racist, sexist, ableist, and transphobic people on Twitter. It's over for me. I'm sorry. Yeah, this person has the patience of a saint. You own Twitch now? Oh, fucking let's go. Let's go, buddy. I'm changing the cut, okay? No longer is it 50-50 for a sub. Now it's 70-30, and I get the 70.
So you think it's a delusion? someone is self-delusional.
Yeah, I think it's delusion. It could be mental illness. It could be it's a lot of different things. With children, there's also just a basic confusion that all kids have. Like that's why when you hear a parent say, "Oh, my 4-year-old son came to me and said that I'm a girl now, and so that's what I'm gonna raise him as a girl." No, you're a 4-year-old. I have 4 kids. When a 4-year-old boy comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm a girl," here's a good follow-up question.
That's a lot of kids for like no reason. Here, listen, I can destroy trans ideology in a single question to a kid.
When a 4-year-old boy comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm a girl," here's a good follow-up question. What is a girl? Ask him what he means by that. What do you mean by girl? And when you ask him that, here's what he'll tell you. He will tell you what he really means is that he wants to do some of the things that girls do, like play with the dollhouse, or he likes the color pink. That's fine, play with the dollhouse, but you're still a boy.
Yeah, we all know when trans people, when you ask trans people like what is girl, they go, "I want dollhouse. I like pink." Listen, okay? I'm a Twitch leftist streamer. I talk to trans people every day. They say this. They all say this. They all say, every single one of them. Every single one of them. All of them. He does need to stay away from children. Look at this fucking face, bro. You trust this man around children? You trust this man around your children? Be honest and answer and think about your answer before you say it. I don't trust this man. I wouldn't trust him around his children either. He said he loves violating his kids' consent. That's weird. He said that. Many people are saying this.
That's a question I would like to throw out to other members of the panel. Actually, because just like the 4-year-old can't answer what is a girl, well, this is one of the problems with this left-wing gender ideology is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. It's like, what is a woman? Well, can you tell me what a woman is?
Oh, here's like something really wild is that honestly, just reading this off the face is that the couple came off as like really nice. Name a woman? I can't do it. The couple came off as like really nice, really chill, really understanding. They're just like, I think it would be nice to care more about other people. And Matt Walsh is like, look at these fucking disgusting, delusional, brain dead, mentally challenged idiots who think that they're like, bro, my good. He can't hide his contempt for a moment to try and come off as like good or anything. He can't do it. He literally can't do it. It's impossible.
No, I can't, because it's not for me to say. Womanhood looks different for everybody.
What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what does a female mean?
Well,
how do you define a female?
Someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing, when you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies, we could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being.
Interesting. So I'm trying to understand.
It's weird as fuck. Listen, I know every cell in my body has a big fat fucking dick, just like me. All right, just massive, and each one of them, all right, eats Doritos and drinks Mountain Dew, and they're baller as fuck, bro. They all wear Jordans, and they all have the exaggerated swagger of a black teen. All right, it's written into my DNA. I'm sorry, there's not much that I can do. Dick is the powerhouse of the cell. Many people are saying this, so I'm just telling you, all right. This is just weird, and once again, we're just talking about sex. Yeah, every time they talk about women, it's like women are a different species. Every time they're like men and women, they're like rocks. They're like rocks and plants, bro. Men and women, they're like it's like me and bats. It's like me and gorillas. We're just so different. No, we're not. We're not that. Women are not. They're not that much different than you, bestie. They're really not.
And your definition is that a woman is someone who is female. You said, right?
Correct. Is a biological female.
So what happens if we have maybe someone who is female, identifies as a woman, right? Cisgender woman, right? As you just explained, that maybe doesn't have the ability to reproduce. Maybe doesn't have those organs that you're talking about that are reproductive organs.
I have answered the question. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not
but
myself.
You used the word, so what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right. So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people
that describes what?
People who identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own. Each woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently. And so trans women are women too. Okay.
Oh, they're chewing them out. Oh no. See, this is one of the big things. And this is why these people fail once they get out of their little like hug box bubble, okay? Because they're just spiteful, angry, hateful people. Like Matt Walsh, he can't for a second show these people any humanity. He can't. This person is like showing so much restraint, so willing to explain this, so willing to not go overboard. And Matt, he's squirming in his seat. He's bubbling with rage. He can't stop interrupting them. It's just he can't do it. He literally just can't do it, right? He just can't. He can't do it. It's this Joker moment. I have to explain to these people. No, they're falling for the evil trans ideology. No, Matt Walsh, you gotta stop them. You gotta stop them. They're talking to the audience. No, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose them. They're all gonna be trans. No. Look at him. Look how much hate this man has in his heart for like God's children. My goodness. What a yeah, my man's getting fucking rolled right now.
Identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own. Each.
Also, this is an interesting question. I would go like a little bit deeper with this, right? It's like identify as a woman and then like take on the traits that we would identify with womanhood specifically. But what that necessarily means in which aspects of like womanhood will that person will take to be like who they are, like that's something that's up to them. I would just like go that step further to help people like kind of understand, to like tie that like all together. I think that's an easier way to tie that together than just like identify as a woman. There you go. That's it. It's just easier for people to like meld with their own like ideas of society already that would like that I think like a lot I've personally seen a lot of people understand and respond to well. His thought process: no pussy, no woman. Yeah, I think that's literally it. I want to shave off his beard. I want to see what his chin looks like. Show me that chin, boy. Show me that chin, boy. Show me that chin, boy. Yeah, every society determines like what that is. It'd be like identify as a woman and then take on the traits that the society would recognize as women, and they like pick what parts that they find that they find that speaks to them. Right? He's got the leafy chin. Oh no. He's got that racist like leafy chin where his chin you can't tell where his chin begins and his Adam's apple stops.
Woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently. And so trans women are women too. Okay. And you want to hold on. You want to reduce.
Oh no!
Listen,
they're chewing them out.
You want to reduce women. You want to reduce men down to maybe. Listen.
Freaking my good. Oh my, he's getting out testosterone. He's getting bullied by a single trans person. Oh my goodness. One single non-binary is freaking manhandling this boy. Steamrolled, just kept talking. My goodness. He's being dicked down live on stream. And he posted this? He posted this on his channel. He posted this and he thinks he's winning. He thought he was winning here. Unironically.
And you want to hold on. You want to reduce. Listen. You want to reduce.
Though.
So you want to reduce women. You want to reduce men down to maybe just their genetics, our genitals, our chromosomes. Right? That's what you're saying.
You want to do is what you want to do is appropriate women. You want to appropriate womanhood. Okay. And turn it into basically a costume that could be worn.
I'm really concerned about what's going on in schoolrooms.
What the fuck is happening? Where did this transition come from? Oh my goodness. And it's not a costume. I don't think anybody would describe their gender as just like a costume. No, nobody would. Who the fuck edited? This is what primetime TV. This is how primetime TV is edited. Okay, this is how it's edited. Editors high as fuck, bro. This is just how they work. I remember I walked into the living room on my sister, like watching TLC, and it was just like this. This is insane. I'm losing my mind. NATV is whack. NATV is wild. All right, you know what we need? We need that Bollywood editing. Like someone says something, like they have like a hard hitting line that stops everything, and then zooms and Dutch angles, and everybody's going everywhere. Freaking explosions in the back as we like view this from 17 different. That's what I want. Okay. That's the TV that'll give me to put like a TV box back in my room. I think that'll do it. This is just, we've reached something completely different. Oh, that's it. This man, wait, is that it? Is that literally it? Oh, wait, no. Who is this? Oh, they've added more to the foray. No, Matt Walsh had to call in the goddamn cavalry. He's getting his ass beat so hard.
I'm really concerned about what's going on in schoolrooms across the country.
The entire gender pronoun situation makes me feel very upset.
People may think that if you don't want to use the preferred pronouns, that you're against gay people. This is 100% untrue. I am a...
What's happening? We all know them gay people and they pronouns. Name a more iconic duo, gay people and pronouns. against gay people? What you talk about, lady? What you talking about, lady? What's happening? What do gay people have to? She has no clue what she's talking about. All right. This is why people like Matt Walsh are so like unfortunate, because like they lead to so much misunderstanding of all of these topics. This person thinks like gay people are the ones talking about pronouns. Maybe she thinks that trans people are gay people, but they're like just gender gay. Trans people are just gender gay, you know? And they're just like another gay. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm feeling? You know what? Maybe we do need an IQ test to be a parent. Who is gay?
A huge advocate for gay people, trans people, and the like.
Stacy and I both have children in the same school
The fuck
district.
was that
Trans-
Vine boom?
People and the like.
Stacy and I both have children in the same school district.
I learned that the teachers in my children's school were asking for the kids' preferred pronouns in the classroom. When I heard about this, it was extremely upsetting.
Last year, my son was given a homework assignment. I gave an example of a child not identifying with the gender that they're born with. This is an example of a homework that was given to my 8-year-old
Okay.
son. If a student is unsure of their place in the gender spectrum, or is experimenting with different forms of gender presentation, school uniforms can present a real challenge.
Oh my gosh.
Who cares? What does this have to do? Who cares? What does this have to do with anything? These things are good to understand. Like what? I'm just maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just built different. I don't get people who care. Like she's going crazy. Her eyes are like, boy, her eyes are going crazy. What? Like she's losing her mind right now. Who cares? Some kids will identify a little differently and they'll dress a little differently, and you should understand that you should be nice to them. Is this like some like wild crazy stuff to you? Why is this blowing your mind?
What is gender spectrum?
That's a great question. My son was really confused. I feel like I'm ambushed because now I'm explaining to my son. He asked me, what does sexist mean? As a parent, I felt trapped. I felt I had to explain these concepts to my son. I felt like I was whittling away his innocence.
The fuck? Why are parents so scared to teach their kids things? Why? I've never understood. Why are parents so scared to teach their children anything? You brought them into this world and you just want them to just not hear about anything? What are you talking about? When were you going to have that conversation? Every single parent who says this type of stuff, they always go, I wasn't ready. I was never ready. We all know you were going to talk about this with them. We all know that you weren't going to have this conversation. It wasn't going to happen. Okay. They're going to turn 12. All right. They're going to watch a YouTube video, and the YouTube video is going to say porn once. And they're like, porn, what porn is that? Like corn but like pee? And then they'll type it in and they'll be like, whoa, booby. And then they'll type on the iPad that you just handed to them with the iPad with the fucking like rubber bumper, so when they drop it, it won't just like break because you don't want to talk to your fucking kid anymore. And then they'll be like, oh, booby, I want to look up more. What's this feeling? That's it. And then they have to, and then these are the same type of people who like complain about kids like growing up on the internet, but they won't teach their kids anything. They don't teach their kids anything. All right. They're always so scared to teach their kids anything. And this isn't like, you don't have to go like super crazy deep with any of these discussions. You identify as boy. Some people would like look like you, but they won't. And then you use he, him, and you like that, but some people won't. That's it. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. But these people are so scared to inoculate their children for the world that you decided to bring them into, that they'll just go crazy on this. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Kids are omega giga cringe. But like, if you think that and you don't want to teach your kid anything, don't have a kid. You can't have a kid, decide you don't want to teach them anything, and they get mad when someone else tries to do your job for them because you failed. You failed as a kid. You failed. You're scared of how Gen Z conservative kids are going to turn out? You shouldn't be scared. A lot of them, a lot of like the Gen Z conservative kids honestly are to the left of their conservative parents. They're to the left on like most social issues. They're not as cringe as these people. They're not as cringe. I promise you that. Many studies have said this. Literally, third graders understand this shit with little difficulty. How do you teach them their own gender? How can you teach them their own gender, but then like not want to understand that other people have gender and it may be a little different? Okay, you know what? These are the types of parents who like take their baby boy, okay, and like put them in like a lady killer t-shirt or something. You know what I mean? Like they'll put their kid in like a they'll put their kid in like they'll do like the bikini inspector like onesie. All right. Like, oh, look, there goes my son. Oh, look at him go. Making sexual advances towards women. There, let's go. Like, and then they'll be like, some people use they, them. And then, and then it's just insane. I don't get it. It's just so weird. They're weird people. They're freaks. My son will fuck your dog. Yeah, dude. They're like, yeah, dude. When it comes to like baby boys, the baby boy will like hand the baby girl like a block, and they'll go, damn, he getting some. takes right after his father. Look at him, lady killer. Even to this young, my man. Like, come on, broski. You'll like sexualize the kids like interactions in this way. They're like, oh damn, he's making a goddamn move. Look at my boy, But it's just so weird. And then they'll accuse like gay peepos of pulling this shit. It's just so weird, strange. They're weirdos, freaks even. You just force it on them. Yeah, even when you force it on them, you have to teach them it. They have to understand, but maybe they don't even do that, honestly.
This year, my 12-year-old daughter had a science teacher ask the class about their preferred gender pronouns.
I don't want a teacher talking to my child about gender pronouns. It is not appropriate. It's crossing a line. It's unacceptable. This is a parent-child issue, not a teacher-child issue. I wanted my kids to have...
The teacher has to talk to the kids. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my gosh. I have to tell you something. I learned that like my kid's English teacher asked for their names. That's a parent-kid issue. That's crossing a line. Shut the fuck up.
Have nothing to do with it. I had to pull both of my kids out of this school district.
I've decided not to pull my children
out of the school district for just asking what their pronouns are. Insanity. You know what I love? You know what? Here, and I'll be a little mean here. Yeah, this is Giga Karen. I'll be a little mean. Pulling those kids away from their friends, from the people that they know, from their entire social life. You uproot your kids' entire social life and drop them somewhere else simply because you didn't want them to hear that other kids have pronouns. Are you okay? Maybe, I don't know. Listen, CPS needs to be stronger. All right, we need to be taking people's kids away more. These people are incapable of being able to take care of children. They've proven this. In the couple seconds that I've heard them speak, they've proven that they are incapable of taking care of kids, and they are unworthy and unable. Unworthy and unable. They can't do it. They can't. I can only hope that these kids grow up and are able to like escape these parents' chains. Fuck, dude.
Well, what Matt and I and a group of us are doing is we're working to have the school board removed completely. A lot of people I know, a lot of parents I know
remove the school board. You said the word gender once. We must remove the school board. Oh my goodness. And this is why I say you also need to make sure that you're that you're up to date with like school boards. School boards are like really important. School boards are like Republicans' new fighting ground. That's their new battleground because their entire goal is to lie. Their entire goal is to lie and cheat children out of a proper education because it makes them feel bad.
Further interruption, let's celebrate and suck some dick.
Oh my goodness.
Are afraid to speak up, and I speak for them, and I'm not afraid.
Arlo, how old is the baby now?
Oh, Sparrow's actually going to be 4 in February.
Has Sparrow decided a
gender?
Yes.
Oh, that's a great question. Sparrow is in a point of learning and exploration with a lot of things, including gender. Language with children at 4 is very, they're figuring it out. And so currently Sparrow uses he for everyone. No, it doesn't matter what their pronouns are. And we mentioned it. They just call everyone he. They don't conjugate it correctly. They don't use him or his or anything. Just he for everything. So we joke that he is Sparrow's preferred pronoun because that's what they use for everyone. As far as for themselves, though, they're not coming consistently saying, I would like, I want to be a boy or a girl, or I feel like I'm non-binary. We don't have heavy, in-depth, like overt communications. It's not like every morning I wake them up and say, all right, what's your gender today? Hoping they'll finally give me an answer. So it doesn't come up like that.
You decided this was important to leave unspecified, undetermined. Why?
Because of the fact that gender is so social and it is such a social construct. Now, we say we shouldn't interact with one another differently because of our genders. Like everyone deserves the same respect and treatment. But it has been scientifically proven that children are interacted with very differently based on whether they are assumed to be a boy or a girl. Girl children are held more, boy children are given, mechanical toys more often, all of these kind of examples, anecdotes. And I felt it was important for Sparrow to get the chance to figure themselves out without all of that pressure, intervention, and programming.
It seems like we should just keep the dialogue going and hopefully find some middle ground.
I have a question. Arlo, you mentioned that you don't have your child discussing pronouns or figuring out their pronouns yet. And yet in school, our kids are being asked what their pronoun is. I'm confused about how that works. And then there's always this fluidity right around what pronoun you are each day. So it's constantly changing. How confusing.
I think
what the fuck are you talking about? Your pronoun changes like each, like, the fuck? They're 4. Who cares? They're 4. They go to preschool. Who cares? You're going to drop them off at preschool. They're going to make something with macaroni, eat half a container of Elmer's glue, and then they're going to come home. Like, what are you talking about? Who cares? It's confusing. It's confusing is not an argument.
Oh, sorry. I think what it is that I sympathize with the hurt and distress that I sense from you all. I also wouldn't want my child to learn things from their teachers at school that were topics I was uncomfortable with, or I didn't know how I'd want to talk about them. Your children are going to need to know how to navigate a world in which non-binary and transgender people exist.
This is a great conversation to have at home, out of the school. This should not be part of the curriculum.
We're out of time, but I thank everyone for your thoughts and ideas and for remaining civil about the conversation.
The dispute over gender.
Jeez, this freaking editing, man. Is this editing made to like wake like old people out of their like freaking stroke or something? What the fuck is this? My goodness, what's happening? Insane, crazy ass text. Boom. Every time a scene changes. My goodness, man. Is this what we need to do? Is this what we need to do for YouTube editing? Boom. 20 frames are missing between cuts. Just hard cuts, everything. My jeez.
The dispute over gender pronouns.
I don't identify exclusively with being a man or a woman. I use they and them as my pronouns.
You don't get your own pronouns.
You think it's a delusion.
In school, our kids.
Why the fuck? This is it's all being edited like it's an action movie. Dun dun dun. I use they them pronouns. Dun 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 dun. The school asked my kids my pronoun. Dun, 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 dun. My jeez, brother. Wow, they them. Wow. Wow. Well, thank you, Dr. Phil. That was definitely what we call in the business something. Definitely what we call something. Matt, when he sees a trans person speak. He's losing it. Pro-trans professor asks Walsh why he cares so much about transgenderism. Instantly regrets it. So everything that Matt Walsh has posted here is him getting rolled. Like he completely lost the audience. He came off as like incredibly spiteful. Like the person like answered all of his questions. He was just mad the entire time. I don't know. I feel like all the queer people there like came off pretty fine. They came off like pretty fine and reasonable. I think so personally. Like I was able to understand their viewpoints. It seemed like everyone else was just molding.
The extreme approach that you are admittedly taking. And then there's also just ordinary people that might not be comfortable with the language change. And it just is awkward. And so they're afraid of not being courteous or being accepting. So there's like these two things. There's actually combating and not being, you don't like transgender, the idea of transgender. That's different than pronouns. But then just for most people, it's just feeling a little bit awkward and unsure and not wanting to hurt or offend somebody.
Well, why is it important for educators to teach about gender identity, gender presentation, and pronouns? Why do you think that's important?
Because there is a difference. There is biological sex, and a lot of times people are conflating sex and gender. So there's biological sex, and then there's gender, and that's a social construct in the sense that just because you're born biologically a female doesn't mean you automatically want to vacuum, for instance, which is usually a feminine activity or conflated that way. And so it's this idea of giving children in age-appropriate ways an understanding that these things aren't set in stone. Gender identity is not tied to biology.
You say that gender's not set in stone. What do you mean?
I mean that's just factually incorrect saying that. So you have biology is the chromosomal makeup and reproductive organs and all of that. And so that would be sort of the nature side of things. But the nurture side of things is where we see more of gender identities.
She began by saying that my view is extreme. Okay, so the view that every single person on Earth has held up until 15 seconds ago is extreme, and the view that almost everyone does right now.
Both of those. Wait, this is true. This is my bad. This is untrue. Not every single person believed this. You do know there are other other civilizations that have had like more than just two genders, and like there's been a lot actually. You just kind of don't care. Trans people have always existed. They have always existed.
Now, still hold as extreme, apparently, according to her. But there is this, they are conflating gender and sex because on one hand they say, well, you got your biological sex, but then your gender is whatever social construct. But then they turn around and say that trans women are women. So a man who identifies with the gender, the social construct of womanhood, actually is a woman. So if you can laugh all you want, but this is a logical problem. You are conflating sex and gender just by saying that. So that's the problem.
There's biological sex.
What? Did he confuse himself? Did he hurt himself in confusion?
They are conflating gender and sex because on one hand they say, well, you got your biological sex, but then your gender is whatever social construct. But then they turn around and say that trans women are women. So a man who identifies with the gender, the social construct of womanhood, actually is a woman. So if you can laugh all you want, but this is a logical problem. You are conflating sex and gender just by saying that. So that's.
Oh, he just doesn't get it. Oh, they haven't been able to get through to him. He doesn't understand anything yet. It's so wild to me to be able to like talk about trans issues or what, like talk about a particular issue, but then have literally no understanding of it. You know what I mean? Like he's incapable of understanding, incapable of learning. Like, didn't they just explain that woman is gender and gender can be fluid and people can move into genders? Didn't they just say that? So they made a distinct difference between like the sex and the gender. He just doesn't understand. There's this shitty come over. Listen, leave him alone. That's him displaying that he is a man, okay? Because he's experiencing male pattern baldness.
There's biological sex, and then there is gender identity. Part of me wants to ask why you care so much, because it's really not that big of a deal.
Oh, yeah, can I answer that? I'd love to answer that question. I care about the truth. So basic truth matters. I want to live in a society where people care about the truth and we're grounded in truth. Right. I care about children, and these insane ideas about gender are being foisted on kids, and that bothers me quite a bit. I care about the women who are having their opportunities stolen from them. I care quite a bit. Yeah.
You are a champion for.
He just cut like in the middle of her speaking. Man, dude, he has to cut what other people are saying, but he still gets rolled. He's like, why you care? Like people are vibing. What women are losing their opportunities? What opportunity are cis women being deprived of? It seems like they're kind of just vibing. You know what I mean? Yeah, I care about the truth. Clip chimps instantly. That's the only way he can make it work. Oh, that trans swimmer got 6 and they were still molding. Yeah, listen, all right. Listen. The real thing, they're not mad that like women are getting opportunities taken from them or there's like an unfair advantage. What they're mad about is that trans people exist. This is an auxiliary issue that they try to use to attack like their main issue. Their main issue isn't like the sports or anything. Their main issue is that trans people exist and we don't like kill them. That's their issue. Not only did they not care about women's sports, they were like openly hostile to women's sports. They don't care. Like I'm sorry, have you ever heard a conservative talk about women's sports? Like they clown on women in women's sports like all the time. Like that's all they do. That's what they do in their spare time. All right, they're like women. If you've ever seen like women's sports compared to like men's sports, training, like money put in, like stadiums, all of that, there's a massive disparity. They don't give a shit about women's sports. They couldn't care less about women's sports, bro. They actively clown on women and their sports and always talk about how like lame they are. And the only time they really do care is when they can look at women in their like tiny volleyball shorts. You know, I mean, like, come on, let's be honest with ourselves. You don't care.